So let's just take a look. We'll use our first method, which is manually slicing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is make groups out of all these. So let me take snap off. I'm going to select all these tracks. I can right click, create selection group. Now they're all in a group. So if I click on a header of one, it selects them all. If I do anything with one, it does them with all. So if I was to do any of that, okay. So now we're in the groups. Next thing we want to do is make a screen set. So in this screen set, we're looking at all our drum tracks. I'm going to do a Control-2, which copies this to the second screen set. Now I'm going to adjust the screen set the way I want to see it. All I want to see is the snare. I'm going to select that track. I'm going to hold down Control and then T, and it selects that, hides everything else, maximizes this to my best view, to my biggest view. So I'm going to go ahead and you got to be careful now, because if you select in the clip, it's only selecting this clip. You can tell by looking at the drum folder, you can see a representation of the tracks in there. I want to select the whole group. There we go. So I select the header. This thing at the top is the header. This is just the clip body. So I want to go with the header, selects the whole group. All right, so I'm going to minimize that a little bit so I can see the material I'm working on. So I'm going to really zoom in here. And I can go ahead, hold down my mouse, and select split. Because if I don't hold down the mouse, I'm going to press T, it brings up my toolbar. It's the same thing as up here. I can just select around on that. And but I like the convenience of doing it over here. I'm going to hit T. And if I click on this real quick, all it is just the edit. But if I hold down the click, I get some more options. So I'm going to choose split. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to split right on the transient. All right. I'm going to go to the next. I guess in Platinum, you can tab to transient. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. And just split here. All right. Let's go down and split a few more. Oops, did I miss the group? I did. Let's undo that. I better just stop using the split tool here. I can get very confused quick. So let me just do it like this. Yes, I can tab to transient, but it goes off the algorithms of Audio Snap, I believe, which is not 100% accurate. So I can get in the ballpark area with it, I guess, like this. Make sure we have the whole group selected. You'll notice that after I get close to my transient that I'm looking for, I'll zoom in. I'll select my area, but since the last place I clicked was in the body of the clip, you can tell up here I'm only selecting the one. I want to select the header now. So I'm making sure I'm selecting the whole group. Because I'm going to switch back to my first screen set. I'm just going to hit 1 on my keyboard and it just slips over there. And I'll be able to see that I am indeed hitting the whole group. All right, so I'm going to go back to my second screen set, which should have just my snare in it, which it does. Now, when I first brought that screen set in, again, I'm going to give you tips along the way. I wasn't centered. I hit U on my keyboard. I don't know if I programmed that myself or if it's built in. I can't remember. I use it so often. But U centers my view on the now time, wherever the now time is. So if my now time is over there and I hit U, it centers on the view. So let's say I'm scrolled way over here somewhere. I don't know where my now time is. I'm just going to hit U. Boom, there it is. All right, so let's go ahead and chop a few more of these. Select the header so I'm in the group. Okay. See, it does take a little time. Maybe I'll just make this the last one for this demonstration. Let's see how many we hit. Because we're concerned about the main elements of the drums. I've identified the main element in this piece as the snare drum. All right. I guess there's a few more. Maybe if I go through these quick. Let's at least get these parts. All right. Now, alternatively, I could leave this open a little bit. Let's tab to the next transient, hit the U. I suppose I can do it up in here if I'm in the group. Now I can just split from there. That's another way of doing it. However way you want to do it. But when I'll show you on the next one. So if I'm down here low, you'll see my mouse cursor is just the selecting one. If I bring it up higher, it turns into the chaos symbol there, where it's got a 4 cross with arrows on the end. When it changes into that, it's selecting the area and it won't replace the now time. It's not going to select the now time. When I bring it down and it's not the 4 arrowed cross, it's actually going to select. I'll be able to move to different places. So if I just find out where I want to go, move it up till it's a 4 cross there, now I can split. All right, so let's go split a few more of these. I just want to get through it fast. The point of this method is speed. Oops, what am I doing here? And I am just not very fast right now. All right, so let's just find this area here, and we'll make that our last cut. We won't worry about all that fast stuff. So we have all these pieces here. All right, so we've made our groups. Let's go back to our first screen set. We made groups. The reason why we're not worrying about anything else right now is because the hi-hats are all falling where the snare is. So out of the snare and hi-hat, the snare is more important. So we're going to go to the snare. The kick is important, but it's pretty even. Let's just work, let's work on the snare and see how we do. If there's any problems, we'll address it then. So the next step is, okay, we know, well, there is a kick that starts this off. So let's go to that kick and let's cut there. So let's cut right on there. Okay. We'll even get rid of this group here. One solo this. I'm going to save it, do a lot of saves. All right, so let's quantize. When it's simple like this, all we're doing is the snare and its quarter notes. This is a simple one. This is an easy one. So we'll just select our area. Now, again, we're going to use the algorithms of Audio Snap, even though we're not using Audio Snap. I'm going to hit Q on my keyboard, and I'm going to quantize to quarter note. I'm going to use audio clip start times. I am going to crossfade. I want it to do it all for me. Crossfade, I think, probably should be a lot smaller, like 5 milliseconds. Let's see if that gap is big enough. If not, we can adjust. But it hits OK. And it just did it all for me, pretty automatic. Let's go check our work now, because there may be some issues. We have to come in here. This is a personal preference thing. It uses the crossfade type. Yeah, see, I have it selected as linear, but it doesn't use that. It always goes to this. I kind of like the linear, so I want to select all these and make them linear. So I'm going to select my group. I'm going to go to clips, fade clips, There's my 5. I don't want to alter my times. I just want to alter my curves. I'm going to hit OK. Now all my crossfades are now linear. There we go. The next step is to check our work. To do that, we know that kick, snare, and hi-hat are pretty important, even though the snare is what we quantize to. So I'm going to make a new screen set. I'm going to do Control 3. So it copies my current screen set to slot number 3. I'm going to select the tracks I want to look at, which is going to be kick. I'm going to hold down Control, select snare, and I'm going to hold down Control and select hi-hat. Again, I'm going to Control T. So now I'm just looking at these tracks. Again, I can switch back to my full screen set. The screen set I was using to cut to. And now that I'm going to check my work with screen set 3. I'm going to highlight my clips because of my custom key commands. I can go 7 and 8. F7 brings me to beginning. F8 brings me to end. So I can really zoom in here. What I'm looking for is to make sure that none of these cuts are chopping off a transient of the kick or the hi-hat. I'll show you what I mean if we find one. So I'm going to select my next area and hit F8. It'll take me right down there. A little bit there, that's not too much. I'm not concerned about it. We're getting pretty close, but that's where I chopped it on the snare. So far, so good. Okay, here's a little area. This looks a little funny here. So let's take a look at it. Let's fix this. Let's make another screen set. I'm going to go Control 4. That's going to allow me to make these a little smaller because I'm going to open up my take lanes. Now I'll see. Once I open up a take lane, I get this ability to move my mouse around. See how my mouse cursor changes to that double arrow thing? I can go ahead and move my crossfade. Let's go ahead and open these up a little bit and find out what's going on. This is very much the way Pro Tools moves crossfades around. Sonar can do it, but you have to be in take lanes to do it. So we had a little mismatch there on our kick. Look at our kick track. So we just want to bring our crossfade back so there's no issues. Since we're all in groups, everything should have went with it. So let's go to our first screen set and just make sure. This is where we were. Yeah, it looks good. They all went together. Let's go back to our third to continue to check our work. We didn't land on our now time, so I'm going to hit U. It's going to bring me back to where I was, so I'm not lost. I'm going to go ahead and select a clip header, hit F8 so I can continue to work down. Looks like I might have an issue here, so let's, yep, it looks like something is wrong. So I'm going to go to my fourth screen set, open up take lanes, and I'm simply going to move this around. There, smooth that out. So we just had to move back a little bit. Let's make sure they all went as planned. We can close that. They all did. Let's go back and check our work. We'll continue. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. So, oh, here we go. We got another issue. I hit U to center. So, let's go to our fourth screen set. Open up. Let's just find our area. Here we go. Draw that back. Now, it'd be cool if we didn't have to go into take lanes to edit like that, to move crossfades around. Again, I prefer Sonar over Pro Tools any day of the week. No problem there. But there's a couple little things that Pro Tools does that is nice. Like, I'm able to move these crossfades around in Pro Tools without having to go into take lanes. It's a simple thing, not a showstopper, but it would be cool if we could get it. All right, let's continue to go check out what we got here. Oh, here's a big problem. You can see that there's a discrepancy there, so we'll go to my screen set, open up take lanes, simply move this so it's fixed now. Okay, let's keep going. Oops, there we are. What is this? Oh, did I hit? I forgot to do. There we go. I forgot to turn off take lanes. Okay, what is this? Okay, that's where we stopped for now. We're not going to worry about those. In fact, let me just get rid of those. We're just looking at this. So now everything should be right on time. Let's go to our first screen set. See, we didn't land on our now time. I'm going to hit U. There we go. If I just go here, F7. Oh, why didn't that go? Let's go to the beginning. And let's hear it. Let's hear how those snares are right on time. Let's even solo it. Pretty cool. So let's check out the overheads. Oops. I'm going to get rid of the click for a second and just hear them. All right, you can't even tell. So that's method 1.